Welcome to the Aligned Business Show. This is not your average business show. This is actually the opposite. This is where we talk business in the aligned way. This is where we are not here to hustle harder. This is where we are actually, putting the spotlight on the things that are harmful when it comes to the general business advice. So let's kick this off with a big one, shall we? Because I want to talk to you today about why the current dominating business models and success advice are not built for women and how they are actually keeping us from succeeding. So I don't know if you know this, but you can go Google it or you can go search for it yourself. The 10 top podcasts about business. Do you know if they're run by men or women? Men. All men except one where there is a man and a woman running the show. Do you know what the standard advice and takeaways from those podcasts are? Keep in mind, a lot of people are tuning into podcasts. This is one of the number one ways we learn today. We explore the world. We take in, information and new ways. The way these podcasts mainly teaches business is work harder, put in more reps, just be more dedicated, get an early head start, get up 5 a.m. It's all designed for a masculine energy. And if we are honest, and if you are a mom, it's all designed for people that are in a place in their life where they do not have responsibility of children, where they do not have life happening all the time, every day that they need to tend to. They are not in a position where they can put in 14 hours of uninterrupted work time for their business every day until the breakthrough. They are not in a position where they can just, call 100 people, and if it's not enough, they can call 200 the next day, because that is not the circumstances. That is also not the way our body works as women. We are not linear in our energy. We can't just get up every day and produce the same, not without working against our body, against our nervous system, and against our cyclical nature. So this is not the current system sucks. Men suck. You can't learn anything from them. That's not the point of this at all. I just want to show you that if you are trying to build your business in this way, following the dominating rules, and you are doing everything, you really feel like you are crushing it and you're trying to do everything to stay on top of the plan, of the advice, and you still feel like you're failing, or you actually look at the numbers and you're succeeding, but internally it doesn't feel like success. It feels like self-abandonment. It's not because you are failing. It's not because you're losing. It's not because you're wrong. It's not because you're weak. It's simply because you're playing a game made by someone completely different than you for people completely different than you, without taking into consideration your energy, your hormones, your cyclical nature, if you are a mother, life happening. Oftentimes, I don't know if you've heard this, but a lot of times when I've heard men talk about business and how they got there and what it required, all they talk about is how they had to say no to a party or no to friends when they wanted to go out and, have a drink or party. That's not actually what we have to say no to, or the things that are pulling our attention as women or as mothers, especially. It's not our fraternity friend calling us up at 11 at night saying, hey, you want to go get a beer? That's not it. It's kids being sick, throwing up, wanting to show us their latest, whatever thing, or sleep refusal. It's not actually fun things that you can just say no to. It's not life giving you a party invitation. It's real life happening. It's responsibility. It's things you can't just say no to because you right now want to work 14 hours uninterrupted on your business. And I don't know about you, the way I started my business, I was a mom, and I see a lot of moms starting businesses right now because they want different circumstances for their families. They want maybe to keep their children out of daycare, or they want to homeschool, or they want, to have time and not have two working parents that are gone from 7:30 in the morning until late in the afternoon. And if you are in that situation, and if you look at them and their life and their circumstances, there is no way in hell that they are actually going to thrive and still be great moms, keep in mind, and still have, healthy nervous systems and be happy as women and tend to their mental health and their bodies if they follow the standard business advice and every morning get up at 5 a.m. At 5 a.m. sometimes when I started my business, I haven't even slept yet. I was breastfeeding all night. I was up with kids that had nightmares or, pain in their body for growing. So I really want you to be aware of where the advice is coming from and who it's really built for. Because when I look at it, I've been in business for 10 years now. And when I look at the advice that I have come across in my 10-year journey, and when I look at the mentors and the coaches that I've learned from who learned this advice, who followed this plan, who really tried to be the good student of the standard way to succeed in business, they have all broken. They have met the ceiling that wasn't imaginary, but it was an actual fucking ceiling saying my energy, my sanity, my body, my life force, my joy, nothing can keep doing this and building in this way. And they have fallen hard because the system was never built for them. Men have a head start of a lot of years and decades. As women, we weren't allowed to even, talk about money. We had to ask the man for money for groceries. We couldn't vote. We weren't allowed into rooms where serious discussions were taking place. We weren't learning skills about business and managing things. So people saying that, the standard way of doing business, the advice, the podcast, the 10 top podcasts, all made by men with male advice, it's equal. Everyone can follow it. Everyone can succeed that way. They are really seriously not paying attention to the fact that it's made by men. And it's made mainly for men. I'm not saying that it intentionally tries to keep women down. I'm just saying they're not fucking aware. It's like the saying, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. We can't see the world the way each other sees the world. We can only try. But don't tell me that the dominating advice on how to build your business, how to grow it, how to start it, how to thrive in it, how to succeed in it are made for women when every single person teaching it is either a man or has learned it from a man and is in a position where they can, sit in their college room and work on it half the night. It's not the way reality works. And if you want your business to thrive, if you want to build it in a way where you are not working against yourself and where you are not building something that will collapse because the weight of it is going to be too heavy. And I'm not talking about you're not meant here to succeed. I'm not talking about that you can't earn big money. I'm talking about the foundation you're building on is so fucking important. And if you do not honor that you are a woman, that your system is wired differently, that your circumstances in life are different, especially if you are a mother, you are building something that you will hate. You can absolutely crush it. You can be the amazing student. You can be the fast high riser. You can be the skyrocket. You can be crushing it, following these steps and these advice, but only to a point, because you will be overriding. You will be disregarding what feels right in your body. And when you are playing the game made by a man for a man as a woman, but try to be a man, can you not see how you are already losing? How you are already trying to play at an uneven playing field? How you are unintentionally setting yourself up to fail and always come up short? Because anything in you, in your system, in your circumstances that are not matching the plan, that are not, supporting this is how we grow, this is how we do it, you just need to do more of this and then you will succeed, will be seen as a weakness, not only by everyone out here, but from you, your point of view. You are going to see yourself as a failure. You are going to see your circumstances as being in the way. You are going to see your kids as being obstacles, instead of realizing you were here to play a completely different game. You were here to build your business by a different rule set, one that supports you, one that is actually allowing you to be you within the process, and not just hustle harder and, put in more work now and then you can rest later, because later you will not be in a position where you are capable of enjoying anything. You will be so far from your values and what you came here to be, that even if you make it, even if you get to your goal, it will not feel like success. I promise you. You can go and do it for yourself, but it will not feel like success. I have had countless conversations with women that has built in this way. I have seen post after post in spaces where powerful women meet to, get support or vent or share their experiences or ask, is this really how it's supposed to be? And this is always the core of it. They did it, they achieved it, they built it, they were excellent at it, but it had a fucking high price. Not only their joy, not only their time with their kids or, with just life, but it was never, it never felt right. It never felt like this, yes, this is success. This is how it feels. This is how I imagined it. It was just achieving a result. And there's one thing you have to remember about masculine and feminine energy. And I know that both male and female have both. I also know that if you look at the men who are hosting the top 10 business podcast and the ones who are, being prized as leaders and have done shit, look at them. Look at their posture. Look at their body. Look at their testosterone. Look at Tony Robbins. Look at Hormozi. Look at Russell Brunson. They are in dominating masculine energy. Can we agree on that? Feminine energy is not a doing energy. It's a receiving energy. So if you are building your business in a way where you are constantly in output mode, in doing mode, you are never tapping into your feminine energy, your goddess energy, your receiving energy, your creative energy, your direction. The part of you that actually sets the course because it's right. So you can spend the rest of your business adventure and your life, if you are here for long enough to sustain it for that long, trying to follow rules and play a game in a way that was never meant for you, or you can do it differently. That's really the conversation I want to open up for. That is really the space I want to open up for, because I did all the things, I followed all the rules. I looked at all these big guys, amazing guys that have achieved amazing things. And I saw I saw their plan. I saw their advice. I saw their success model. And I tried to follow it. And, I actually nailed it. I was pretty good at it. I am pretty good at being in masculine energy, but anything else in my life that is connected to feminine energy, my motherhood, being a great mom, receiving in general, being in abundance, feeling like life is amazing, my relationship, anything else did not feel great because I was in constant doing mode. I was in constant output. And at one point, I couldn't do it anymore. And I had to look myself in the mirror. And I remembered so clearly the time where I looked myself in the mirror and I couldn't recognize myself. Thought to myself, if this is success, if this is the picture of success, making the money, being known for something, having people come to you, want to work with you, crossing off one goal after another, but feeling empty, feeling like the worst mom ever, constantly feeling pulled apart in two different directions, not even having time to be present with my husband. I don't want it. I don't want this version of success. And if that's you, if you are anywhere on the awareness journey of what I've just told you, starting to realize this doesn't feel right. And I'm not talking about not putting in the work. I love putting in the work. I love doing things. And I'm not talking about not showing up. I'm not talking about not going out of your comfort zone. I'm not talking about, not doing things that maybe feel a bit hard right now. That's not it. I'm not doing the feminine business way where people are just preaching, lean back in the hot tub and then the millions will come rolling. I actually believe you have to put in work before that can happen. But it's not meant to feel hard all the way. And it's not meant to feel like you're losing yourself, not the part of you growing that you actually feel like, okay, maybe I can say goodbye to you because you were kind of limited and you were kind of weak and you were kind of indecisive and you were kind of not brave and you were kind of fear driven and you were kind of a victim and you were kind of not the person that I actually wanted to be. Not that part, but your heart, your presence, your joy, your soul, that part you should never sacrifice. That part you should never, compromise by trying to do things a way that inevitably was never meant for you. So if that is the conversation you are open to, you are going to love this space because that's what I'm going to dive deeper into, not just, the male dominated business and how it's not really designed for women to thrive, but everything that is connected to building a business that is aligned to you, not just as a woman, not just as a mother, every person, because we are so different. We cannot follow another person's footsteps, you know, and put our feet at the exact same place in the exact same pace and expect that we achieve the success that we want, because success is not just numbers, it's not just goals, it's not just demand, it's more. It needs to fuel you and your purpose, and there need to be something bigger in it than just making money. And that is what the current business model often disregards. It's not just about the money. It's not just about the achievement. It's actually about the journey of getting there and feeling like you are growing as a person into the person you want to be, not a rigid robotic maniac just crushing tasks and saying no to everything in life forever and ever. And I really want us to do that. I really want more people to thrive. I really want more people to be happy in business. I want more women to find their way in it. And I would actually like, a woman having a top 10 podcast that wasn't about hustle, 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 or I just, sucked it up for 10 years, did everything I had to do and said no to life and, wasn't even present for my children, override my body and my nervous system, and I achieved the success. Because if that's your definition of success, then you're probably not going to like this space. But if it's not your definition of success, I think you're going to like it here, because we are going to explore everything that is connected to you, building and growing and scaling an aligned business as you 100%.